Studio. We're pleased to welcome now Andy Gipson, a commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Agriculture and Commerce. Commissioner, how you doing today, sir? Thanks a lot for joining us.
Well, Gerard, it's great to be here. I'm sorry for being a little late, but the roads are mighty slick out there today. I'm thankful for the rain, but we've had several folks I know have been in accidents today. So everybody be safe on the road out there. It's one of those days.
Yeah, and you too, sir, as well. So the first, I know you attended and were involved in organizing a big pro-Donald Trump rally last night up in Lafayette County. I saw some photos and got some reports. Looks like that went real well.
It did. We had a tremendous outpouring there in North Mississippi, folks from all over that part of the state and Lafayette County as well, and some great speakers lined up. We had folks from the Trump campaign as well as a lot of young people. And it's exciting to see the young people who are lining up for Donald Trump. They understand the what's at stake, because this inflation is probably hitting our young people harder than anybody else in a lot of situations. So it was a great rally. I was glad to be a part of it. Appreciated our conservative Republican chairman Mike Hurst being up there, chairman of the party, and we had a great turnout, and we hope to do another one. You know, we're 2 months out from the election, and this is the most important 2 months really for the survival of our nation. It's a matter of whether we're going to continue to be, whether we're going to be a free country based on capitalism and free enterprise, or head further down the socialist route that Kamala Harris has us on. And that's why, among many other reasons, I'm actively supporting Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, of course, you and I had the privilege of attending the Republican National Committee Conference in July. What a blast we had up there. I enjoyed being with you, Commissioner. We had a good time, and it was exciting. It was upbeat. It was optimistic. It's what we want to see. And yesterday, Mr. Trump, we've been talking about this morning, he addressed the Economic Club of New York, prestigious organization, and he laid out his vision for a Trump administration type economy, and he dove into some details. I've been discussing those on the program today, and I was impressed. And I said, this is absolutely a blueprint for growth. And I'll say this and then let you respond. His economic policies are about growth. Democrat economic policies are always about, let's just redistribute the existing pie.
Yep. You're absolutely right, Gerard. The difference couldn't be more clear. Donald Trump, as a businessman, as a believer in free enterprise, he understands that a rising tide lifts all ships. And so when we grow the economy, when we support businesses, from large businesses all the way down to small businesses, to sole proprietorships, when small businesses are doing well, large businesses are doing well, that's good for the entire economy. That's good for everybody who wants to work. It's good for the folks who have an interest in bettering themselves and their future, and it's going to be good for America. So we've already seen it. I said this at the rally last night. Trump has a track record, all right? We've had 4 years of Trump. We had 4 years of Biden-Harris. We see the difference, and if the people of this country have been paying attention, and I think they have, Donald Trump should be overwhelmingly elected in this year, 2024, November the 5th.
What are those who work in the agriculture industry in the state of Mississippi, the largest industry sector in the state, what do they think, Commissioner, about the two candidates, and where do most of them land in terms of their support?
Yeah, I said this last night at the rally. As I travel the state talking to farmers, our biggest part of our economy, farmers are suffering right now in a way that they haven't suffered probably since the 1980s. That suffering is a direct result of high prices, high input costs, and there's nobody to pass those costs along to. So unlike some businesses, they just raise their prices. The farmers take what they can get in the way of price, and they're having to eat all the inflationary costs, interest rates sky high. And I've had a lot of farmers tell me that this year's not looking good. It is looking perhaps one of the worst years they've seen in a long, long time. Some farmers will decide not to continue farming in 2024. And that's also being driven by the trade deficit that we now have for the first time in a long time. We're not selling our products overseas like we were in prior administrations. We have a severe shortfall in the sale of products, agricultural products overseas. And to tell you what a big deal that is, in Mississippi, out of every 3 acres of production, 1 of those acres, the market for that acre is international trade. So when we're not selling our products like we should be, when this administration has allowed us to crater into a trade deficit, that's even hurting worse. And it's hurting the prices. The prices not keeping up with inflation. Farmers are hurting. And, there's one man who can turn this boat around, and that's Donald Trump. If Kamala Harris goes in there, God forbid, she's going to make Joe Biden look like a conservative. Her father was a Marxist. She has a communist ideology. She speaks that language. And we have got to do everything we can, pull out all the stops and elect Donald Trump November the 5th.
Well, she thinks the farmers are price gouging, which is just so ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
RFK Jr. has announced that, of course, he is endorsing Mr. Trump to the chagrin of his family, as a matter of fact. And while he was a candidate, and really for quite some time, he's really been signaling concern about the safety of our food supply, and has really highlighted that we've seen chronic disease and a big health problem among our children in particular. Was curious about the extent to which we should be concerned about that, and if there's any discussion about this within the agricultural community.
Well, there's always discussion about it. America is the source of the most food and the healthiest food around the world. We have production agriculture now today that's feeding people not only here across America but around the world. And all of I understand a little bit of where RFK is coming from. He's concerned about healthy foods. We all are concerned about that, but agriculture is not to blame for that. All right, there's a lot of processing and other aspects that may go into our food today that we didn't see 100 years ago. Some would say over-processing. But our farmers are applying modern technology. They're applying modern practices to produce the food we have to survive. That being said, as I understand it, his emphasis is on organic food. And look, we all love that. We love organic food. It costs a lot more to raise food that way, but it is available. And I heard President Trump actually talking about investing in more ways to produce more of that type of product. And there is a market for this. There is a demand for this, and people want to have the best food for their families. So, but we have to have it all. It's kind of like energy. You can't just say, I want this kind of energy, solar energy, and nothing else. It's got to be all the above. We've got to be able to fire up a diesel tractor. We've got to be able to run the oil through the pipelines. So we need all the above when it comes to our food supply. And in America, we do it safer than anybody else. So I'd be interested to learn more about what his concerns were. But I feel like our farmers do a great job today in producing abundant food and fiber and shelter, as well as abundant supply of organic product.
You talked about earlier, Commissioner, about just the struggles that you've heard from a financial perspective from many of our farmers. And I've seen reports, sir, that indicate that we're experiencing bumper crop yields across the country, particularly in the Midwest, corn, wheat, et cetera, because we've had very favorable weather. We've had rain this year, whereas last year we experienced a drought, and so that drives the price down as well.
We have abundant product. We're not selling it where we need to sell it overseas due to the failure of the Harris-Biden administration. Prices are suffering as a result of that, and the inflation on the painful side for the farmers is something that just is not sustainable. So it's true not only in agriculture, it's true in every business.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to small businesses, large, all across the board. Businesses are hurting. A lot of people feel like we're on the cusp of a recession. Trump can get in there and he can turn this thing around. It won't be overnight, but he'll put in place the pro-growth policies you talked about to get things turned around. It may take him a year, may take him more, but we've got to get him in the White House.
Commissioner, always good to talk to you, sir. Really enjoyed it, and thanks for your service to the people of the state of Mississippi.
I thank you, Gerard, and thank you for having me, and God bless y'all. Be safe out there on these roads.
Folks, we're coming right back in the